Good evening from the Pacific Northwest, particularly in Tacoma, Washington. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you for coming into tonight's live event. We're going to be closing off this week. We're going to be covering some of the topics, just touching base again and see what the progress is. Perhaps we'll mention some of the current events down in our Gulf states. I'd like to do that right away. My son is one of the first responders during the hurricanes season. So him and his unit are out there. So families are safe. It's just the one who's out there serving the people out there who may not have been able to get out of the hurricane's path. So hats off to all those first responders out there this weekend. We also had in the news this week, DACA. About 800,000 people young men and women who are at risk of losing everything that they gained. So thoughts and prayers are out to those people. If there's any indication as to what we could do in the interim, other than hiding them until we get a government duly elected by the people to serve the people and fix this immigration problem that we have, stop the division, letting them have us fear. Well, we can be afraid of everything, or we can stand and face it head on and overcome it. We are at war with the 1% and 2%, the people who are the wannabe kings and queens and rule over us. Think about it. When a CEO can make thousands, hundreds of times more than what their highest paid employee does, there's something wrong. Transfer the wealth of this nation upward. No, we're not going broke, okay? But our gross national product, our GNP, which is in the trillions of dollars every year, when they say they're going to cut their tax to 15%, that means there's going to be 15% more of the national treasure, which is not just the blood, but the physical treasure of what makes this nation productive and competitive with the rest of the world. A portion of that gross national product is being sent right to the top of that 1%. Oh yeah, they have the handlers who are taking out their millions here and millions there. And when you think about trillions, a few million here and there doesn't really make any difference to the ones who are getting at the top, because they know they're going to get their next installment in 365 days. That's why I'm going to Washington. With your vote, that's why you have to register to vote. You have to register and be active. You have to, if you cannot vote for me in the area that you live in, you can find those progressives. Now, we're going to be working on, as we speak, a list of states and those having progressives, independents running for those national offices in Congress and in the Senate. We can't do it by themselves. I can't do it by myself. That's why I'm supporting so many progressives here in the state of Washington. I'm compiling their names and putting it out there. Those that know that I am supporting them already are aware of that. And we're going to do everything we can to get those progressives elected as well, so that we can have that block to stop the money going to the top from our gross national product, instead spreading it out into our infrastructure, our healthcare, our education, our defense, all of our social reforms that we have, immigration, infrastructure. We're going to do it all. We can do it all. But we have to stop that gross national product from going into the hands of a very few. And with your help, we can do that. With your help, I can help facilitate it in our nation's capital with other like-minded people across this nation who are rising up against the tyranny of the dollar. That's right, tyranny, because if you don't have it, you can't get it. If you don't have that dollar, you can't buy that food for your children. If you don't have that dollar, you can't buy that piece of junk that you have to get back and forth to work. Without that dollar, you can't find a place to live. That's why we need to make sure that the money is being spent and redirected into the things that this country needs. The infrastructure, the high-speed rail, all those things that would benefit us as a society to be able to connect. Healthcare is a human right. In a nation as wealthy as we are, healthcare shouldn't even be a problem. Pharmaceuticals want to make some money, see if you can do it off the other countries, but not this one. You can have all the research stuff you need, but guess what? It better not be going into marketing, because people don't need to see commercials on TV hearing you say that this pill here is just what you need. But if you have this, or 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 this, you better talk to your physician before you ask about our pill. It's a happy pill. It'll make you healthier. It'll help you with your erectile dysfunction. It'll help you with your overweight. It'll help you with your rheumatoid arthritis. It'll do this. It'll help you have better bowel movements. It'll do this. It'll help you quit smoking. It'll do this. It'll give you a happy face. Pharmaceuticals don't need to be advertising on television and telling people what they need. Anything that they need to talk to the American Medical Association, make sure that the doctors are able to evaluate. That's right, doctors evaluating that medication through the scientific research and the study and what their other people in that medical field are saying. And then seeing what the tests are like before it's prescribed to someone else. No more advertising pharmaceuticals on TV or on the radio. We don't need it. And, you get people paranoid thinking about, oh man, that's me. I get those symptoms all the time. Oh my God, I better get to my doctor and get some of that medicine. I better get that pill. I don't care about the side effects. I don't want that other stuff. But yes, by having progressive people in the nation's capital, in the Congress and in the Senate, there won't be a bill that goes before the president that doesn't address the issues that we have talked about. It will not go to the president's desk without the things that we have talked about for the American people. We'll put a health care bill before the president's desk. We got to get Congress to go along with us. So we need a really big block. Okay? You need to vote, but you need to register to vote. And you need to support those candidates that are in your areas if you're not in my area. The other night, one of the viewers and contributors as well, even though she is out of my state, she cannot vote for me. She went and shared the broadcast across other venues for exposure so that people could hear what you were hearing. And I so appreciate that. That means I may not be saying everything right when I say it or made it so I understand. Well, please speak up and say, what did you mean by that? Okay? But if I'm letting the issues be told in a editorial way so that we can both digest it better, then good. But let's talk about what we want to do when we are trying to get to the Senate. And what this viewer did and contributor the other night was this. She shared that. And then she was also contributing to the conversation and asking questions or making statements that needed, validation by me. Where did I stand on that particular thing, that comment? So I like that kind of stuff where you can ask me questions to get my position out of it. And if I don't have one, by golly, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to make up something. I'm not going to shoot from the hip and, well, this is the way I feel about it right now. No, because without being able to understand the question and everything that's inside that question, I can't really make a decision or a statement that is contrary or would lead people to believe something else that wasn't true. I have to speak the truth. I have to know the facts on the issue. And if I don't know, I will try to explain what I do understand and what I think it means. But mind you, it will be what I think it means. And if it's not, then I need led to the direction so I can understand that issue. Okay? I don't look at it as an insult or a lack of my abilities. It's just that all of the issues facing this nation, I have tried to zero in on the most important ones, the ones that will make the most impact. And yes, there are a lot of side issues too that side right into that. Okay. Initiative 940 here in the state of Washington, which is a de-escalation petition for patrolmen to get additional training, also medical training, emergency medical training, so that they can assist someone in a terrible accident before the emergency squad gets there, to help. I mean, some police departments I've heard do, and it's a very known thing. And they need to understand that trust in the neighborhoods, especially our minority neighborhoods, are not what you'd call stellar. People are very guarded, and I'm sure the police officers are too. And it should be that. I mean, when I grew up, Wilmington, Ohio was in Mayberry. But today, heroin addicts, heroin epidemic, opportunities aren't as great as what they used to be. And so crime rate goes up. But yeah, when I grew up, it was a whole lot better place, a kinder, gentler place. So I encourage you here in the state of Washington, listening to this broadcast, to, if you have not signed the initiative 940, a link is on our website. It's Saturday night. This is water, not a beer. I do like good beer, though, a good dark beer occasionally. And but this is water. And check out Initiative 940. It can only do one thing: save lives. So if you're not in Washington. Check it out and maybe try to get it on your ballot for next year when we have the general election in 2018. Get it in the primary. Have it in there. See if we can't take this initiative 940 all across the country. All across the country. Okay? It might save some life. I'm all in for that. And better police force. And also, I'd like to say our police forces do not need to be militarized. That's why we have a National Guard. That's why we have a reserve armed services, Marines, Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard. We have reserves. And then we have active duty. Our police departments and sheriff departments do not need to be militarized. That right there is a big trust factor. I'll tell you what, if you run into some goofball with AK-47 piercing, metal piercing ammo, stand back, stand back, stand back. Keep the sucker under surveillance with a drone and get somebody in there that can do that kind of stuff. Hands down. Please do not militarize our police departments. Okay? And quit these home invasions that you're doing. It's just as bad as the thugs, the drug addicts out there looking for money for their next fix. That's what it sounds like. I mean, for crying out loud. Crying out loud. People getting hurt. You're shooting animals. You're shooting their pets. Police, you got to stand down. And calling on you good cops to weed out the bad ones. Okay? Calling on you good cops. You got the people behind you. You got the people behind you, officers, who are walking the line and doing the public service. You've got the people behind you. Let's clean up the stuff that's not so good. Bring True Blue back. Okay? True Blue. Bring it back. Get rid of the dirt. Okay? Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the campaign Dave Strider for U.S. Senate.com. Dave Strider is an independent running the state of Washington. I am an independent. I listen to only you, the people. I only follow your voice. I mean, just coincides that we're thinking basically the same thing: judicial reform, immigration, healthcare as a right, reduced, military complex, social reforms, infrastructure. We're thinking all of those things. Social Security, retirement, Veterans Administration. We're thinking all of those things. We're all on the same page in that regard. And together, yes, some of those things I have an inside track on. But the other things, I'm going to need help getting those bills written, getting those initiatives written. I can't do it all by myself, but together we can do it. Okay? And I'll be out there and I'll promote it. And I'll be that voice. I will be that voice for you. I've got spine. Okay? I've got backbone. Okay? I've got determination. Okay? I'm a United States Marine. Not active, but I am a Marine. I cannot slow down. I will not take no for an answer. And if I'm wrong, I expect you to say something to me. Plain and simple. You folks are in charge of me. I am your public servant. So please, please speak up. Let's have a big party. We've got a note here. Is anyone else having trouble with playback? Are you having trouble watching the video? It's not like, okay, best way to describe it. I talk okay, but then my lips move, or is it lip sync? Is the lip sync to it? Okay, we're trying to determine whether or not there is people having video issues. So I guess. Well, let's see. I see. Wow, and stuff like that. Okay, it's Saturday night, folks. I guess we can have a little bit of levity here, uh, but thank you. I guess everything's okay. Yes. Can I get thumbs up if it's okay? You know, the little blue dot with the hand going up, you know, that, okay, look, I've almost got, it's almost blue. Okay. If you're hearing and everything's working fine for you, great. If not, it's probably your temp files, internet temp files that are kind of slowing you down a little bit. So what I do is before I broadcast live, I clear out my cache and everything. Basically, I reboot my computer. And so anyway, tonight is the first night this week that I have not had my wife bring me a smoothie. It's very, you know, they're kind of good. Last night I showed that I harvested potatoes. We talked about sustainability and survivability in adverse conditions. So the little arboretum that I'm building is going to take some time. It's not as quick as I thought it would be. There's a glass roof that goes on it. There's interior excavating that needs to be done. There's support beams that have to be put in to withstand the fierce winds. And that part of my house does get hit with the high winds. So I have to reinforce the glass roof based on that information that I've experienced here in the last years. But it'll be really good. So I'll be able to do some sustainable stuff. I've seen a lot of houses that have greenhouses outside their place. And so there's a lot of abilities for us, even if you have a small yard. You'd be surprised what a handful of seeds will do for you. And so think about sustainability and having yourself try to build up a supply of food. It's not going to be easy. It takes a while to build up. But ideally, with winter coming on, it'd be good to have a 3-month supply, especially if for those people who are used to being snowed in or periodic flooding and stuff. Dry goods, dried meat, canned goods, bottled water, some purifier tablets, plenty of batteries and your flashlights, a good source of firewood, charcoal to cook with, fluid to light it with unless you self-light. So those kind of things. Just prepare yourself to be ready for 3 months surviving without access to anything else. I've really enjoyed this week, ladies and gentlemen. We've had some good input, some good comments. The post has been shared, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're moving forward in a positive direction. As I mentioned, I'm an independent. I'm running against 3 Democrats, and to this date, there is, to my knowledge, no Republican running for the U.S. Senate. So there'll just be myself, the Democrats, running at this time, according to what we've been able to research that's available. That's a good thing. I mean, I left the Democratic Party. I left it. 2016 fiasco, and then the dialogue that came out of the dismissal of the fraud suit. They took your vote, your duly processed vote, at a voting booth, at a voting station, or by mail, on an official ballot printed by your state or local elections office. They took that government document and then they lied about what was on that government document and then had superdelegate votes that also enforced their wanting to place someone in office because they felt they deserved it or it was their turn. No, it was the people's turn, as it's always been. The people's turn. And Bernie Sanders, no matter what you think about him now or whatever, he ignited a movement. He ignited a movement that has lit us all on fire. I haven't seen this kind of participation in the voting arena since the days of us hippies. People were getting really hurt bad back there, protesting the Vietnam War and equal rights, civil rights. Yeah. And it's happened here too today, recently, Charlottesville. We have to vote. We have to fight for our vote. We have to fight for our freedom, just like our forefathers did. We have to fight for our freedom. If we want our freedom, we have to. If we want the things that is deserving of this nation and the citizens that live within it, because we are all one part. We're not different groups. We are humans. We are Americans. We are citizens of the United States of America. And we cannot continue this travesty against our nation and the rest of the world, where we just think we can go in and do whatever we want. Well, this nation's having trouble. They need some of our battalions. They need a couple of divisions. They need some airstrikes. They need drones set up. We can't do that. How is anything going to work if we're blowing everything up all the time? How good do you think the environment is after you doing that? Each one of those bombs, there's a certain level of contamination, and some of them do not detonate all the time. People are still getting blown up and maimed in Southeast Asia because of the bombs we dropped that was ordnance that did not explode. People are still getting hurt. Yes, there are teams there that are doing their best to find those things and detonate them. But it can't be done fast enough. Southeast Asia is the breadbasket of most of the world. You know, if they can't produce it because there's bombs everywhere, are the 1%, like Henry Kissinger quoted a long time ago, ideally, the population of the world should be about 2 billion people. We need to lose at least a third or more, maybe half, maybe only 2 billion people surviving. Well, the 1% would still be there. They exist today with 6 billion plus people. They would have their security squads. No. We put an end to it in 2018. We start the march on the oligarch. We start the war, the march on regaining our freedom. We get people out of our government who are doing nothing but treasonous activity. And back to that 2016 primary vote, when your vote didn't mean nothing, and yet I don't understand why you're still a Democrat. Is it because you didn't want to vote for Trump? Understood. I understand. But why do you keep supporting? That's why we wonder, how do these Republicans, senators and congressmen and women keep getting reelected? Gerrymandered districts, for one. Because there's some of them. I mean, when you think about the things that they say, the old saying comes to mind. When they were passing out brains, they thought they said trains, and they missed theirs. So we got to think about how we want to live, how we want our children to live, how we want our grandchildren and their children's children to live. We have to think about that today. We're going to be doing our best to have a list of candidates listed by state location, counting on you folks to help me with that. That's a lot of work. We'll be working personally here on the one in Washington State and getting that together. But we also need help from those other states so that we can promote those people. And because we're on different time zones, what we'll be able to do is support each other. Support each other. I could be, doing 8 o'clock shows following the candidates. Yeah, I could be following candidates at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the evening news comes on. I could start following different candidates throughout the week, checking them out and sharing their stuff. Yeah, we could be doing that. And then go to the central time zone and do the same thing all over again. But I think, I'm going to cut my activity down to try to, I'd like to 30 minutes. 30 minutes is what I'd like to do. And the reason I say that is because then we could have another person coming in from Washington State, here in the Washington area, or California, or Oregon, somewhere that people that are used in the Pacific time zone. And we could probably have 2 or more people from the Pacific time zone as well. We could be supporting a lot of issues and a lot of people who are progressive independents that are really trying to make a difference. Okay? I think I can do better if I'm outside any party and making sure that I'm hearing your voice. Just watch the Democratic Party. They're going to do everything they can to put in the people that they want. And when they do, that's when we lose. That's why we have to be overwhelming. We have to overwhelm the ballot box. We have to overwhelm it. 70%, 60% or more of the electorate needs to vote for the independents and progressives in primaries such as the one in Washington. Beat them so bad in the primary that they don't even show up for the general. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because based on where those people that voted for them are at, we can take the message to them. We can take the message to them. And we could tell them, hey, listen, this is what's happening. This is really what's happening. What do you say? And listen to what they say. Because we're going to be speaking the truth, folks. We're going to be feeding the truth out there. One person at a time, if that's what it is. So we need an army to get that one person. We got to just talk to that one person. So let's think about how we're going to do that. Just like one of the viewers and contributors did last night. They copied the link and put it on another site. Okay? That's how it goes. And then they stayed and did contributions with dialogue, questions, comments. That's the only way I can let you folks know exactly where I stand on those issues. And that's the only way that these other people can too. Okay? What happened to us in 2016? Oh, yeah. But you know what? I can't give up. then that means they won. Yeah, they won because they won that round because they cheated. But guess what? We're awake. We're hip to their situation now on what they want to deal us. That's why I'm an independent. So your voice gets heard, not their party line, not this, not that. No corporation money, no super PACs. No, none of that. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this. The word is getting out. The word is getting out, and I it humbles me the way it's getting out. Based on the budget that we have and the coverage that we're getting, I am very humbled in the fact that so much is happening with this campaign. And the same thing is happening to these other campaigns too, who don't have a tremendous amount of funding. But they're out there letting you know what is going on, where they stand, and where they want to be there, where they want to be your voice as well. So look them up. We're going to be making sure that we have everybody here in the state of Washington. We're going to be having that compiled. We're working on that. It's not an easy job. That's why we need help from everybody else across the country. And we'll post it on our .com. Just leave a message here at the Dave Strider for U.S. Senate Facebook page, private message, and we will take care of it. We will get that information put on our .com. And we'll be able to, because it's the .com has linked itself to this page as well. What goes on the .com will automatically come on here. Okay, so it will be able to share. Okay, we'll be able to have that information. We can facilitate a plan of action. Remember, folks, we're at war. Our freedom's at stake. How we conduct ourselves from this day forth will determine our future. 1, we get the word out. 2, we share. 3, we encourage all others to do the same. We ask questions. We make comments. We follow through. We get these people elected into the primary so that they can go to the general. We take a block from each state, maybe only 2 or 3 people from each state, but that will create a block for the people. The people's voice won't be a whimper anymore. It will be a roar. This is our nation, not theirs. This is our nation. When I say theirs, the ones who would be kings and queens over us. No, we do not subjugate ourselves to royalty. We do not bend on knee to any man or woman unless we're proposing. Okay? But the time that we've experienced for the last 40 years, or maybe even more, almost the last 60 years. Dwight Eisenhower warned us of what we have today. He was a Republican. He was the Supreme Commander in World War II. Not everything he did was good, but he warned us about the things we should not and allow and cannot let it happen, because it would just take away everything this nation provides for the people. We won't have security anymore. We won't have it anymore. So, as your candidate from the state of Washington for the seat that I'm running against Maria Cantwell in, now there are 2 other Democratic contenders, but I'm running against the incumbent. Okay? I'm running against the favorite in this horse race. In fact, I'm going to see if my staff can get Maria and I a chance to sit down and talk After all, we share the same birthday, October 13th. She's 6 years younger than I am, but I'm a gentleman, and I'll buy her a coffee. Okay? I'll drive to where you're at, Maria, to buy you a birthday coffee. And we can talk about the state of Washington. We can talk about the nation privately. No cameras, no recorders, just you and me. Having birthday coffee and talking about what we're passionate about. Okay? Set that up for me, Greg. Okay? Set that up for me. I'd like to have birthday coffee with Maria Cantwell. And my campaign manager is remote. So if he doesn't get this, if they're in the state of Washington, if anyone in the state of Washington would like to do that, I'd like to have birthday coffee with Maria Cantwell. I will travel to where she's at. I will buy her a birthday coffee because that's the gentlemanly thing to do to a lady, to a woman, is to buy them a birthday gift and coffee, and then we get to sit down. And since there won't be any cigarettes, bummer. Since there won't be any cigarettes, we'll be able to sit and talk about the things that we're truly passionate about. It should be a good coffee break. I'm looking forward to it. Someone make it happen for me. Okay? I don't want to seem like I'm rude or anything like that. I mean, I'm kind of old-fashioned when it comes to meeting a woman like that, just out of the blue, no matter what the reason. I'm a little backwards, a little shy, and because it's something big. And so if you can do that, great. I'm really wanting to debate her too, but running as an independent, I don't think I'll get a chance to debate the Democratic people. Probably not. So maybe not. It's Saturday night, folks, and I'm off tomorrow. I have many things to do, and my campaign has given me one day to do that. And personal time. But in that personal time, I also have writings that I'm also doing, trying to prepare the campaign so that they can be published online. So there's a lot of things that I do even on my day off, which is Sunday. And winter's coming, so even though it's a newer home, I need to prepare because of a structure that I built over the summer. So I need to prepare it for the winter weather, which is really rainy. But I'll be writing, putting together my platform, defining it even better for you on the positions. And I want you to have a good Saturday night. It's still early here in the Pacific Northwest. You don't usually go out until about 10 o'clock anyway, any place in the country. And back east, you're getting ready to go out. There's a lot of after-hour clubs. I know I used to hit some in New York City when I lived there, down in the south of Soho, down around Washington Square. So have a great night. I'm tired tonight. I mean, it's been a hectic week getting things done, but I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Do have a great night. If you're going out and about, be safe. For those still traveling, getting away from the hurricane, be safe. For those of you who could not get away, hunker down. And to my son and his buddies out there in Florida on first responders, be cool, brother. Help the people, but don't do anything that puts you and your people at risk. Okay? But I didn't have to say that. Sorry. It's a dad thing. All of you, God bless. And thank you for tuning in. And remember, leave your comments. Dave Strider for U.S. Senate. We are self-funding. We don't take corporate money. And we want you folks to make sure that you register so that you can vote. Thank you and good night.